Everyone is part of a bigger story. It's a bigger story than you can imagine. It's a big story about a really big God. Discover the story that shows you the character of God.
Hey friends, I'm Caleb, and this is Thank you for your patience. This is my Bible. The Bible is a collection of 66 books written down by dozens of people who shared God's word over hundreds of years. And together, they tell the story, the incredible story, of how God made everything and loves us more than we can imagine. Even when people turned away, God promised to make a way for us to return to relationship. God's people waited for 2,000 years for that promise to be fulfilled. And we're still waiting now for God to make everything right again. That takes some serious patience. And I've got 4 stories right in here to show us what it can look like. We get started in the book of Proverbs. Here, we find wise words shared by one of the wisest men to ever live. Anyone who is patient has great understanding, but anyone who gets angry quickly shows how foolish they are. That's right. A big piece of patience is learning to take a deep breath and put the brakes on your temper. Time for a trip to Genesis, the very first book in the Bible. Here, we meet Jacob and Esau, 2 brothers who could not be more different. Esau is the oldest, so the family property, money, and more will all go to him someday. But after a long day of hunting, Esau's so hungry, he's sure he'll die. Instead of waiting a few more minutes, he trades all his rights to Jacob for a bowl of beans. We move ahead to Exodus for our next story. God has brought the Israelites out of Egypt, where they were enslaved. God has given them food and water in the wilderness. But then God calls their leader, Moses, up on Mount Sinai. Moses is gone for days and days and days, and instead of remembering the amazing ways God has provided for them, the people have a cow. They decide to take the bull by the horns and create their own golden opportunity. Bad move. Sorry. We wrap up in the book of Luke. Here, we meet Simeon, a man who has served God his entire life. Long before, God's Spirit had promised Simeon that he would see God's rescuer before he died. Now, Simeon's been waiting for years and years, and I'm talking years, until one day, God's Spirit leads him to the temple to meet a brand new baby boy. Waiting until later for what you want now is never easy, but it can bring the very best gifts. That's why true patience is always worth it. And I can't wait to see how it shows up in you and me.